world would you want to swim with sharks? Well, it's kind of like skydiving. Why would you want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I'm Jim Mcsorley, and we're going to take you on a shark dive.
Still to come on Rich Brenner Sports Sunday.
I'm Jim Mcsorley, and you see these guys right here? Well, those are sand tiger sharks, and this nut, well, that's me. Check out my serious dog paddle coming up. Literally inches, just inches away from sharks. We'll take you to the deep blue sea right off the North Carolina coast in tonight's cover story.
How does Jim Mcsorley feel about being shark bait?
I have to admit, I'm just a little bit nervous about this shark deal. How safe is it really?
Well, it's fairly safe. People dive around here with them all the time, and they come right up to you, and most of the time they don't bother you, But I've never had, well, maybe too much trouble with them anyway.
Well, that was beautiful. Big old fish down there, big old shark.
That's photographer Timmy Hawks and I just having fun with Danny Jaws McCrae. As you can see, Danny helping Timmy out of the water right here. He does have all his limbs, and so do Timmy and I after diving with sharks. We'll show you Jim and Tim's excellent adventure in tonight's cover story.
Sharks are many things to many people. To Jim Mcsorley and photographer Timmy Hawks, they're friends, kind of. From bungee jumping, to bull riding, to skydiving, Jim Mcsorley has been known to lose his mind now and then, but this tops the charts. Scuba diving with sharks, and not just one or two, dozen or more of your fine,
right.
finned friends there.
And unlike bungee jumping or bull riding, this is something I plan to do again
We'll
and
go back
again.
and do it again.
I will do it as many more times as I can. Simply an amazing experience. And what's even more amazing is most people have no idea of the hidden treasures of scuba diving right off the North Carolina coast in the graveyard of the Atlantic. It's called the Graveyard of the Atlantic because of the thousands of deadly shipwrecks entombed at the bottom of our coastline. Pirate ships, Civil War submarines, German U-boats. George Purifoy knows what lies beneath. The skipper of the Olympus, George has been diving these waters nearly 40 years.
To actually go and find it, and see a piece of history, something nobody else has seen before, for the first time. That's a really neat feeling.
What do you do when you see a shark? Just look out?
They'll swim right up to you. Sometimes they'll come right towards you, and they'll just, when they get right at you, they'll veer away.
The shark dive is on the wreck of the Carib Sea, a Coast Guard freighter sunk by a German U-boat.
16, George.
As we drop down 80 to 90 feet, a half dozen sand tiger sharks become visible. Ranging in size from 5 to 12 feet, these ultimate hunters are hardly interested in us humans. Several more sharks appear, and this is just an average day. Divers can remember counting more than 60 sharks at times.
Woo, that was beautiful. Big old fish down there, big old shark. I was breathing heavy there for a second, and then I slowed down.
Yeah, they intimidate you a little bit.
I think I saw Jaws out there.
Yeah, they are.
His brother was out there today. Big time, big time.
Right in front of the smile there, just turn around, Yeah, he smiled there.
I think I'm nuts going down there just doing with sharks.
Scuba divers from around the country and the world come to dive North Carolina wrecks and have voted this the top dive site in North America and one of the best in the world. Divers like Mike Sullivan, a homicide detective from Washington, D.C.
I've been up down the East Coast. I've been to Bermuda. I've been to the Caymans. Been to Cozumel, Mexico. Some of the finest diving in the world, Caymans and Cozumel. But I've never been to any place like this right here in Carolina where you can see the fish as big as they are, the wrecks the way they are.
If you're thinking this type of diving takes special skill, not true. Just a sense of adventure and comfort underwater.
We have whole families to come in the dive shop and want to learn. Everybody learn to scuba dive, and it's a very, very good family activity because this is not all the type of diving there is. We have, you can go down the Caribbean and do some very laid-back diving, which anybody can do.
Oh, you got some big ones too. Oh, there's some big ones. Look at these.
On board the Olympus, you can imagine fish stories and shark tales are an easy catch.
Grab a shark by the head like this, try it out. See, it's still kind of bloody there on the end. It wasn't that bad. A little aggressive, but he wasn't bad. We've wrestled bigger ones before.
These waters overflow with sea life and history. George Purifoy discovered the German U-boat 352, sunk by Coast Guard cutter Icarius in World War II. The U-boat's anti-aircraft machine gun decorates the deck of the Olympus dive shop. Purifoy's treasure chest includes personal possessions of German sailors, prisoners of war held right here in North Carolina, World War II cannons thundering right along our coast.
I guess it really brought home some of what I'd heard my parents talk about for years, you know, seeing sailors wash ashore up on our coast and realizing that the war was, you know, right here on us at the time. And to see that and go out and just go 26 miles, and it kind of brought it all to home and brought back all those memories my parents had talked about.
And George is still finding buried treasure in these rigs. Just a few weeks ago, he found 17 bottles of wine and champagne. Now, this is one of those bottles. It's about 130 years old. I'm not sure exactly
just right.
how it would taste right now. He found it when he was diving the wreck, the City of Houston, and that's an American luxury liner that sank way back in 1878. So really interesting. And you saw in our story, some of the divers on our dives found shark's teeth, and this is one that Jerry Petticord from Blue Dolphin Dive Shop came up with. Shark's tooth. You can find them right there along the bottom. You have to kind of know what you're doing and dig down in there and find them. You don't, like Sammy, you don't actually go into the shark's mouth and rip it out like he was kidding around. You just find them kind of laying in the bottom. They fall out of the shark's mouth. Just really an interesting dive, a lot of fun, something I'd like to do. Jerry, Sammy, and Jay from Blue Dolphin Dive Shop helped me out. I at first had my wetsuit on backwards, and they straightened it out.
Yeah, actually I had your wetsuit on backwards. This guy's a real veteran. Proves anybody can do it. That's the neat thing right there. We'll pop this a little bit later.
Well, what would it be like to put your life on the line every day so you could save other people's lives?
The crew members of Baptist Hospital's Air Care helicopter know the feeling and shared their experiences with Fox 8's Jim Mcsorley. Jim?
More than 100,000 people a day drive by Baptist Hospital, and you've probably, like me, struggled to find a parking spot in one of the decks when visiting the hospital. But you may not realize that on top of parking deck B is a very special home away from home for a unique family of rescue workers. I'm privileged to be the only journalist to ever fly on an Air Care rescue mission, and I'll take you on board to meet the nurses, pilots, and doctors.
Roger, ma'am. All we have is that this is a head-on collision.
Whenever our beepers go off and we get a call, they like for us to be off the pad within 5 to 10 minutes.
Air Care, St. Louis, Air Care. Go ahead. Roger, sir. Mark us off at 26 minutes after the hour.
They watch our times very closely because by being able to transport the patient rapidly to a level 1 medical center, we're able to save lives many times.
They have multiple patients. Multiple PI. They do have one patient with CPR in progress. Sounds like they got to roll it down.
If you come in from the south, and we're going to try to let you hit the yellow line.
There's been a couple of times there may have been a question about whether the weather was quite right or whether the scene was safe. If any one of us had any doubt about it at all, we were out of there.
They had 2 patients, one CPR in progress and one critical in nature.
Whenever we go out to a scene call, they don't want us on the ground any longer than 10 minutes. You have to remember that this is a patient laying here, and it could be you or one of your family members.
It'll be about 15-minute trip.
They head on. Okay. He's not to be a driver. No seatbelt.
I bet with all that blood.
Okay, y'all got a pressure 165 over 121.
Many times it can be very stressful working in this type of environment, working very diligently on a patient, trying to make sure that they do make it back to the hospital.
Again, we're about 3 minutes out.
Unfortunately, this patient's heart stopped before Air Care could reach the hospital. Nancy Eubanks says in 7 years as a flight nurse, this is her first patient to die in flight.
It's so important that we get there, and when you can't get there, there's just a frustration that it's just overwhelming sometimes.
One of the very few unhappy endings on the flight deck of Air Care, but life and death are something this crew deals with every day. In parts 2 and 3 of the series, you'll meet the doctors and the pilots that are part of the Air Care family. Fred and Carol.
What a dramatic story.
It's an encore. J-Mac, Jim Mcsorley joins us courtside. And Jim, these guys are a little bit older, but they can still play some ball.
Oh, as you can see, Gator River's right here. Hey, these fellas still got game in those old bones. And the Harlem Globetrotters are the world's most famous basketball team, traveling all over the world. Gator played back in the 70s and 80s with Meadowlark Lemon, Curly Neal, all those guys. Yeah. Gator, what was the best part of being a Globetrotter?
Being with the kids, you know, spending time with the kids, entertaining them, making them smile.
I mean, that has to be such an accomplishment, such a joy to be able to put smiles on people's faces, young and old. What was the biggest joy for you working with those children?
Well, you know, I have what is called Gator Ball Academy, and I think the beauty of it is to be able to pass on what we do. Just to see a kid spin the ball on their finger because they saw one of their idols do it, that's the beauty of being a Harlem Globetrotter. and being a Harlem legend.
And now last night and tonight back here raising money for the local Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. That's got to kind of put you in the holiday spirit, the Christmas spirit, giving back.
Giving back, yeah, because see, we're not here as Harlem Globetrotters per se. We're here as Harlem Legends, Harlem Globetrotter Legends. And, you know, the Globetrotters just don't have the time to come to areas this small in a lot of cases to give back to the community, so we do it for them.
All right, folks, game time is 7 o'clock tonight. It costs $7 to get in.
Yes.
Come on, let me see if those old bones still got game.
Okay,
come on, one time.
Wait, come on. Stay there, right through the leg. Stay there.
All right, we'll be back at 6 o'clock more with Gator Rivers and the Harlem Legends.
Thank you.
J-Mac, thank you very much. You got schooled, you got taken to the hole there.
I'm Jim Mcsorley live at Ashboro High School where the Harlem Legends, former Globetrotters, are here tonight to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club, playing a bunch of bums like me. You can also bid on State and Carolina basketball and this official LeBron James jersey. Folks, tell me, I got game like LeBron. You didn't see that, did you? Hey, sports and weather coming right back. You can see this is no powder puff league. This is full contact smash mouth football. What kind of women play tackle football? Well, how about teachers, counselors, police officers, moms, and yes, even grandma.
It took the high heels off my feet. It took the high heels off my feet. Now I'm wearing football cleats. Now I'm wearing football cleats. Woo!
They call me grandma because I'm 46 years old and I got 3 grandkids. Hitting everything that ain't got my jersey colors on and having a blast.
Shut them down, defense! Turn the heat up, D, let's do it!
We playing it like the guys supposed to play it, for the love of the game and not for the money. You're not making NFL money.
Are you making any money?
That's a little bit.
I want you to bust that linebacker right in the chest, okay? Upper right, 33.
You know, shake and bake them, just the way the guys did it. Man, it's major hard. I can't, it's really hard to explain it. There's something a lot of people never thought they would be doing. And when they get out there, people travel for miles just to come to practice. Charlotte, Durham. The fans is probably the key thing. Because, I mean, they recognize you and they pump you up even when you feel down, you mess up on a play or something like that. And it's all right, you know, you can keep going. It's amazing.
Get in there and get that quarterback. Come on.
Get her! Get her! Point blank. We Cougars. We Cougars. They can't score on us. Push him back, D. Push him back. Defense can't score, right? Yeah. Defense can't score. Yeah. All right, let's go. This I have. Defense on 3. 1, 2, 3. Defense.
Watch that shuffle pass. Let's go base, pump, 8.
The quarterback fumbled the ball and somebody tripped over the ball and I saw it, so I picked it up and laid on it.
Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
The adrenaline rush, I didn't even want to get a ball back to the ref. If he hadn't said, give me the ball, I wouldn't give it to him. It was a rush.
Defense! Defense!
That's the best way to come back. Remember, it's not how you begin, baby, but it's how you end. That's how you play football, ladies. That's how you play football.
Just like soccer and basketball, women have shown that once they get the chance to learn the game, you know, they can play it pretty well. The Carolina Cougars are home again this Saturday night against the Miami Fury. Well, 24 hours on a mountain bike may sound more like torture than fun. It's like mountain climbing because it's there. The Burn 24-hour race was so enticing, people came from all over the country. Some kids missed the prom to ride. Others celebrated Mother's Day on the mountain.
I've never even seen one of these races before. Thank you.
Now you are one.
3 generations of the Sheets family came to the hills of Danbury. A Le Mans start for Nicole and more than 100 mountain bikers racing 24 hours on an extreme trail with 1,000 feet of elevation change over nearly 6 miles.
Because it's about what I can do and how I can handle something else, how I can handle this bike.
So tough. She is so tough. I was just like, I couldn't believe, because she did the last 40 miles on guts.
Well, she just wouldn't let me go to sleep. I kept saying, all right, can I take a nap now? She said, no, get back out there.
Of course, this extreme has seriously nasty climbs and drops, especially difficult at night. Nicole completed 18 laps, 104 miles in 24 hours.
Got a lot more accomplished than I thought I could. That's the nice thing. So much more than I knew I was capable of. Grueling, interesting, being out in the middle of the night with lights on, hoot owls and foxes and toads, and I'm scared of the dark.
It's fun but scary at the same time, because, I mean, you know, the routes are slicker at night and slide a lot more.
Brad Cassing is part of Team Carpe Diem, Seize the Day. He and schoolmate Trent Joseph missed their high school prom at Guilford Day to compete.
Oh yeah, it's a lot funner than prom.
The adrenaline, I guess.
Pretty dangerous.
All of a sudden, yeah. Impressing other people.
It is impressive completing a 24-hour race, bruised and bloody, filthy and muddy, so sore you can hardly move. What hurts the most?
My legs are fine. It's just my, saddle sore. Really saddle sore.
I think even my fat hurts. What the?
Now, this is the second time I've gone up there running through the woods, chasing these guys with my camera. The next time, I'm riding, and you guys are going to come shoot me.
I'm going to give him a plug. If people don't know this, Jim Mcsorley has a broken foot. And he went out there. He's hustling. The foot is supposedly getting better. You just messed it up again.
It hurt a little bit.
But he was out there with a broken foot covering this.
All right, real quick. At night, the only lights that they have are literally the ones they wear on the helmets or the ones on the bikes. There's no spotlights or anything out there.
Oh, no, it's pretty scary out there for them. And they can stop if they want to eat or take a nap, but the guys and girls that really want to win just keep on motoring.
Pretty impressive.
I tell you what, I love the kids that gave up the prom. That's dedication there. Thank you.
You had to describe Lance in one word. What would that be?
Superhuman.
Superhuman. How about awesome? You're awesome, said President Bush in a phone call to Lance Armstrong today. Bush added the country is very proud of Armstrong winning a record 6 Tour de France's in a row. Lance makes it look easy, cruising today's final stage into Paris, winning the Tour by 6 minutes, 19 seconds. Cycling may not require the remarkable athleticism of Michael Jordan's jump shot, Tiger Woods' golf swing, or Barry Bonds' home runs, but those guys do not endure the sheer pain and endurance cycling 2,000 miles. As Lance says, pain is temporary, quitting is forever.
I do have fun and I do prepare well, but I have fun preparing, I guess you could say. You know, it's like I love my job, I love my team, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
The Cup boys roll in New Hampshire today, and good old Virginia boy Elliott Sadler finally has a way to control Tony the Temper Stewart. Sadler gives Stewart a big wedgie before today's race. Even more uncomfortable than racing with a wedgie, Dale Earnhardt Jr. racing with burns on his legs. 57 laps in, Jr. gets lapped, but catches a break when Ricky Craven gets squirrely in the Tide ride. This caution allows Jr. to come in and swap out with Martin Truex, taking over the wheel of the number 8 Chevy. Just about halfway, we've got trouble again, and it's Kenny Schrader sending Martin Truex into the wall. Truex finishes 32nd. That old Trinity Bulldog, Brian Vickers in the number 25 car, well, he loses his bite on the track. Vickers finishes 34th. With 6 laps to go, Rusty Wallace brings out caution for a 12th time when he gets loose and smacks the wall. So this crash sets up a 3-lap dash for cash. Kurt Busch is leading with Jeff Gordon right on his bumper. JG's not able to make the pass, and Kurt Busch has his 2nd win of the season, heading to victory lane in New Hampshire. Like George and Wheezy, Busch is moving on up to 6th in points.
We had to come to this week and know we had to put some points together. Last week, a couple weeks ago at Chicago, we got in a wreck with Ryan Newman's flat, and this is more or less our 10 races to go. We've got to do it now if we want to be in position. It's just a tremendous effort.
Ryan Newman leads the most laps but comes in third behind Busch and Gordon. Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart round out your top 5, followed by Michael Waltrip. With 7 races to go till the 10-race playoffs, Dale Jr. loses a little ground on Jimmy Johnson, now 165 points back. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Matt Kenseth all comfy in the top 5. But let's check out the guys a little nervous on the top 10 bubble. Kevin Harvick slips a spot to 9th. Ryan Newman still 10th with Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Jarrett, and Jamie McMurray all within 134 points. Now you've got that feeling the Braves and Phillies race is going to go down to the wire. Atlanta at Shea today, playing the Mets with a half-game lead on the Phils. Game tied at 2 in the third. Watch Chipper Jones sew some glove at the hot corner. Richard Hidalgo, you're out. Keeping up with the Joneses, Andrew brings home J.D. Drew in the 5th, and the Braves take the lead 3-2. Atlanta trying to pile on, but watch the Mets' David Wright turn 2. But the Bravos hold on, and Steph,
Braves win 4-3 over the Mets.
nice job. So how about the Phillies? How'd they do against the Cubs? Phil's Ricky Leday thinks he has a hit, but how about the grab by Moises Alou? Nice leather work. Phillies pitcher Eric Milton has a no-hitter going to the 9th and nearly blows it. Chicago scores 2, but Philly hangs on to win 3-2, still a half game back of the Bravos. At the Senior British Open, Delaware Club Pro Pete Oakley with some great saves today. Off the beach here, Oakley wins by 1 shot over Tom Kite. And at the Greater Beer Can Open in Milwaukee, your shot of the day from Kenny Perry, who finishes 4 shots back of winner Carlos Franco. Fred Funk is second, but neither has an eagle like Kenny Perry here. It's in the hole. And a bizarre story out of Miami from one of the sport's most talented and strange athletes. Dolphins running back Ricky Williams has quit, heading to Hawaii and Asia to travel just a week before training camp. Williams still has 3 years on his contract, and the Dolphins could sue him for $3.3 million. He's just 27 years old and says 5 years is enough.
And he wants to retire
At
already?
age 27.
Hope he's got a lot of money in the bank.
Well, he does, but he might end up having to give a bunch back to the Dolphins.
Hate to see that
He's kind of a different dude.
All righty. Well, they are getting...
I better get loosened up. You know, it's been a while since I've shot football. Got to get the old eye and the arm in gear. In fact, let's just give it a shot one time and see how we do. See if we can still follow the ball. Fire it in here, Daniel. Whoa! I need a little more practice. You know, at Fox 8, when covering Friday Night Football, we spare no expense. We have the latest in rain gear to protect our photographers and field crews. Gore-Tex, nah, who needs Gore-Tex? And for that high-dollar television camera you see right there, another very special piece of equipment to keep it dry. Let's see if we can open her up here. All right, play ball. Friday football on Halloween, gotta have a costume. What do I want to be? Maybe Robin Hood or King Arthur? How about a clown? Yeah, that's a stretch. Or maybe a pirate. Dickie V here, Friday football. It's awesome, baby, with a capital A.